it's a new time. I mean, like, yeah, especially guys coming up. Guys are in high school with shows and putting content and stuff. So this is going to be something they're going to deal with. It's just, do you have the awareness to know, like, I better be producing. Like, if I'm going to be doing this sideshow stuff, I have to produce, and it should motivate you to produce even more.
For me, it was 1,000%, because as soon as Chuck Pagano gets to Indianapolis, I have my first meeting with him. He looked sweet. He had Ferragamo. He looked really cool. Of course. It was very nice to meet him, And they tried to replace me immediately with another punter, especially because I was tweeting and everything like that. And then they heard the sound at practice one time, and they understood that was probably not going to happen. Okay, like that is... Welcome to the bomb show, brothers. And that was they brought in numerous guys to try to take me out. I had to learn how to become a directional punter in one off season, because they were basically like, hey, we're directional punting, and if you can't do it, you're gone. They wanted me out of there. I understood it. It was very clear. And I taught myself how to directional punt, which everybody should be able to do. The only reason why I didn't is because I didn't know how to punt whenever I got drafted. So it was just a new thing. I added it in there. But they were trying to get rid of me for sure. No question about it. And then I think they got to know me a little bit and everything like that. And Chuck presented one time. He was like, why don't you stop tweeting? And I was like, hey, back in the day, I was out 4 nights a week. Okay? Having a pretty good time. A little bit too much of a good time. You seen the mugshot, obviously. Now I'll put out a tweet about something I'm watching while I'm laying in my bed. Okay? If I cause any distractions, you can fucking find me. You can do whatever you need to do. If I shank some balls, you can get rid of me. But if I'm tweeting about a Real Housewives episode or tweeting about something happening in my life, just know that that in comparison to a lot of other things could be vastly different. And Chuck said, deal, he said, deal, you got it. And then obviously I go on to have my best stuff from being under that umbrella and going through it all. But I knew that I was literally 2 shanks, 3 bad tweets away and 2 shanks away from being kicked out of town, But that does heighten the sense of everything, Heightens practice. It's like, hey, if I want to do all this stuff and set up myself up for post-career, which punting money, great. Overpaid, grotesquely overpaid as a punter to kick balls. 1,000%. I am not saying that is not the case, but also that money's not lasting forever, So if I want to set up myself forever, I have to make sure that this is locked tight. And I am when I'm there, I'm earliest one in, I'm fucking dialed in, I'm bought in, I'm in I'm a positive for this team as a punter, as opposed to this guy has a Twitter account and he's shitbird. It's like all those things kind of go together, and it's modern world.
Are we wrong though? Are we wrong to assume that players have that same feeling, have that same awareness that are doing this stuff? I would assume most people that do it understand the deal. Hey, I don't want to come on here after we get blasted and I'm loafing all over the field and I come in and I have to talk like nothing happened.
Micah's such a superstar.
Yeah, I don't know if you can assume anything.
He's so good.
So good at football. So good at football. Such a superstar. It's like, and I assume Bleacher Report was paying him pretty good. I assume Bleacher Report was paying him pretty, not $40 million a year, but they were certainly.
But how different is it though? Guys have local shows all the time, especially a place like Green Bay, Wisconsin. I was there 9 years. There's backup quarterbacks have shows every Tuesday night. They would drive 45 minutes to and do a radio show from a bar. There's stuff like that happening all the time, and that was streamed and everything. I guess how is that different than this?
Because nobody heard them.
Yeah,
but they could if they wanted to. I guess,
but nobody did. Micah's shit everybody hears. That's like us. Too many people hear our show. Everybody hears our show, which
he should say sorry that they want to hear what I have to say.
Or those backup quarterbacks.
Well, that goes back to me saying Micah, when you're done, you're going to be. Yeah. It's going to be A-okay, brother. It's still going to be there. All I'm saying is if his podcast or any of the other content stuff is the reason to hold up a $41 million a year job, do not. And I assume Mulligeta's saying the same thing, brother, you can do Dallas Cowboys content on their social media. We can still keep you relevant in this entire thing. And also, that's one less job that you have to have.
Yeah.
Because people do take it that way. When I would go do stand-up or whatever, I would hear people, and they'd say, oh, you're doing that instead of focusing on ball. I'm like, well, when I went to, a breast cancer awareness event on a Tuesday night, which lucky to do, thankful to do, I didn't hear you saying I wasn't focusing on ball then, so there is always like when Aaron comes on our show, the original pitch was like, hey, on Tuesdays, off days, people normally do like local shows that players have had forever. Players have been getting paid for forever. Instead of doing that, would you just want to do like an internet show with us or whatever? And he goes, yeah, I haven't done that in a few years, actually. And that was the beginning of Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. So there's always been some sort of content being created with players. It's just how many people hear it. And if nobody hears it, it's not really a distraction. If everybody hears everything you're saying, then it causes shit, Yeah. And that's coming from experience and also from like watching the world. Micah's shit gets heard.
Yeah.
By everybody.
Every week.
So no matter what you say, it's going to get responded to, which is going to add another element of, which Jerry Jones could like, and we could be completely wrong on this entire read of this. Jerry Jones could like that Michael Parsons, I like that the star is in the middle of all these things.
You're right. He could.
Could. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but what we do know is like, it's hard to win in football, in the NFL. It's even more hard whenever you got people taking tours around your facility.
Yeah.
It's even more hard whenever you got everything, let alone causing more shit potentially from something. So I hope they get it worked out. And I think TJ Watt's like, yeah, why don't you guys go ahead and
hurry up.
Why don't you let Mulugeta go ahead and figure that whole thing out, and then we'll see where we're headed with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, for Jerry, too, like he might be looking around and thinking, okay, the NFC title game was the Commanders and the Eagles, the two teams in our division, and do any of those guys on those two teams, are they kind of dicking around doing anything? No. Okay, how do we get there? Like, actually, especially when
Brandon Graham, right? BG, he had that one.
He did the thing about Jalen, and that kind of fell into the because he talked about on the weekly radio hit about Jalen and AJ Brown having a bad relationship.
Boom, yeah, which was drama.
Which was huge drama.
But then it got,
and that was only once. That was the one time people heard Brandon Graham on that.
Did not know the show existed.
Didn't know the show existed. That was when Brandon Graham had the torn tricep. He wasn't playing really yet, or not yet. Rather, he was kind of out for the year till the Super Bowl. So who knows if he did that every week again? Don't even know because he's not Micah Parsons and he wasn't talked about every single week repeatedly because he's one of the biggest stars. But you assume Jerry, you talk about like heightened, hey, we got to go right now with the way the Commanders and the Eagles are. If anything can be kind of nixed in the sense of, hey, let's try and get back to the Super Bowl, a podcast
just optically.
Optically too.
Even if on Mondays he is doing something that he would normally that isn't football related, optically it doesn't look like you're distracted. And I knew that was the thing for me. And once again, much different ballgame, Micah Parsons and I. So I'm just saying at my small level, optically, me having any brand name, tweet, anything that I did, if I don't do well, it's like, this guy's distracted. He's worried about other shit. Get him the hell out of our town. There's only 53 spots, okay? You should be lucky that you're here, is how fans view this entire thing. You should be lucky you're a part of our team. You should be focused on our team. I'm not saying that should be reality. Obviously, guys have to be able to do their own shit. But if you're going to get 40-some million a year, optically, it could be very easy to sue that over with just being like, I'm all in on ball. And once again, if you want to make content, just do it with the Cowboys social media, which still has massive reach. Posty's available. Jerry's available. Yeah. Yep. You can still make content with the boys.
You also wonder how much of it might be like, hey, when you were doing this stuff in the past, we had Mike McCarthy there. This guy is a veteran. He's won a Super Bowl before. Now we have a first-time head coach. We need you to be a leader in the locker room so that, this stuff doesn't blow up, and this is all Brian Schottenheimer's dealing with all the time. He's got enough on his plate trying to navigate how to, get this thing going in the right direction. We need you to make sure that everyone's rowing in the right direction.
What we're saying, Micah, is get every dollar, brother.
Yep.
Get every dollar.
New England would love you, too.
You've earned it. And I'm sure there would be a lot of other places that would love to pay you. But he has fifth-year franchise.
You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, if they want to. And when he got drafted, he cried because he wanted to be a Cowboy his entire life. Feels like a perfect fit. Hopefully they're able to get it done. And if the podcast still remains, all right, sweet. Can't wait to hear what that is.